Today we're going to talk about why I sold my R6 to buy the S5. I'm Biography and welcome to my channel where I do reviews, tip and tricks, tutorials and talk about creative stuff if you like talking about creative stuff. Today we're going to talk a little bit about this bad boy that I have had for quite some time now. And the reason why I finally decided to sell my R6 to keep this one. Basically, this one cost me half of the price of the R6. I just bought it secondhand. This camera has been out for about 2 years now, and it's still one, if not the best, hybrid camera that you can buy for the price. The only thing that is lacking in this camera is a good autofocus. Good autofocus doesn't mean that it's not usable. It just means that you can trust it in certain situations, but the autofocus in this camera is actually pretty good. And I have been using it in my professional environment, the autofocus. So yeah, it's good. It's not probably Canon or Sony or Nikon now level, but it's pretty good. Plus, well, if you are a really true professional, maybe you should go more manual focusing than autofocusing, just because it gives you even more reliable autofocusing experience. But I mean, everyone can do whatever they want, so I'm not here judging that if you are professional and you use autofocus, you're not professional. It's just that you have more control on what to focus on if you use manual focus, but you can use whatever you want. Except from that, this camera doesn't have nothing less than the Canon R6. Actually has even more, because this one can have custom modes in video, and it has 3 custom modes in video, and all these buttons that you see all around here, all the buttons around here, it's full of buttons, are all customizable to your needs. I have no clue why Canon doesn't do that, but well, this does. So I loved it. Even the front button here, you can customize it exactly to what you want. Even the R6 had kind of the same button in front, but you couldn't customize it for everything, just for certain things. While this, you can. Plus custom modes, plus waveforms. I believe that in 2022, all camera bodies should have waveforms. It shouldn't be only a cinema camera thing. Because even Sony, Nikon, or no other companies, I think, than Panasonic actually delivers waveforms already in their cameras. It's mind-blowing. Like, waveforms is one of the best things that you can have for proper exposure. And why do we still need to rely on the histogram? Even Sony with the A7S III is supposed to be a video camera first. You still have to rely on the histogram for proper exposure instead of the waveforms. So guys, if you don't have this feature in your camera, trust me, you are really losing a lot of material. And this has even a spotlight meter, I believe is it called. I think it's called spot. I'll make sure how it's actually called. It's called luminance spot meter. It's basically a light spot meter that you can drag it around, and it will tell you how much of a percentage there is in that specific zone of light. So if it's blown out, of course, it's going to be between 90 and 100. So it will give you 90 or 100%, or however is it in between. If you go on the darker side, it will give you 0 or it will give you proper exposed 1, 2, 3, whatever. So that's another amazing tool for exposing. Like this camera here in this small body, it has so many features to help you properly expose that is just mind-blowing. And one of the best things that it has that is not the mini HDMI, no clue why they keep putting mini HDMI in cameras nowadays, but we have it here too. You can have basically ProRes RAW externally and B-RAW externally. Canon, learn from Panasonic. Sony, Nikon, whoever doesn't do this feature, learn from the companies who give us these features, because you pay half of the price for most of the time for the cameras, and they deliver more than the most pro expensive cameras. Why that? Like, give us some more love, people. And one of the other things in this camera is, well, they have more megapixel count than the R6, and it has kind of the same superpower that I used to call superpower on the R6, that is in the shadow. You can bring up the shadow in pictures so well. In the future, I will show you some things that I have done with it. I can show you now because work reasons. But it's fantastic how much shadow you can bring out. And it's fantastic in low light. I've shot until like 8,000, and I had to just in Premiere, actually even more than that. And actually in Premiere, I just need to bring down a little bit of noise reduction in DaVinci. So yeah, it's actually pretty good in low light. And well, you have to anyway properly expose your scenery if you want to, you know, really have a beautiful image. So it's not like you have to super rely always on your cameras to have super great low light capabilities. But if you need it, this camera has it. The R6 has it too, but I personally had problem with the C-Log or C-Log 3, where I had too many issues. I had to work 3 times more in post to adjust it, to fix the noise. Of course, it's normal to have the noise, but to fix the noise, it was a lot more work, at least for me. But the V-Log workflow, it's so much easier, better. And of course, this camera has even more dynamic range than the R6. So I don't know, it was just mind-blowing for me. And yeah, I just love this camera more of the R6. And those are mainly the main reasons why I bought this camera over and sold my R6. Just because for the money that I bought this camera, so 1,200, like 1,200 for this camera, it was just so much easier, you know, and I had so much coming back to me, and that's 1,200 I can earn it back. I actually earn it back in basically in 1 gig. So guys, if you are considering camera in 2022, forget about all this thing, autofocus and stuff like that, because trust me, if you learn it, how to use it properly, the autofocus is not going to be an issue at all. Like, you forget about it. Me, I forgot about the autofocus. Like, I use it every time, and then I just don't use it in things like real world, really like work for a client. I just manual focus. Even with the R6, I would just go with manual focusing. So it's not an issue for me, and it must not be an issue for you either, just because we need to work on this kind of things. But Panasonic still needs to fix this contrast detect autofocus and just change it to a normal autofocusing, like a better autofocusing system, AI or whatever, just because nowadays people want that. And if they want people to buy their cameras, they have to rely on good autofocus, because nowadays that's what the industry is switching in. The FX6, the FX3 has amazing autofocus capabilities. Now the R5C, the C70 has good autofocus too. So I believe that in the next body, if you haven't seen my YouTube video that I released last week, or 2 weeks ago actually, I talk about that probably there is a new camera coming, and there's still going to be a DFD contra detect autofocus based on that camera, but maybe we will receive the GS6 version. So, well, let's see. But I hope they will bring us a new autofocus system or way in their new bodies. But yeah, now I have talked for so much. How long I have talked? 11 minutes. Wow. So let me know what you think and share your point of view down here with me. This was not scripted at all. I was just rambling around. So hope you stick here with me, and who stick here with me, thank you very much for hearing me blabbering. Share a comment and let me know what you think. And if you are considering buying it, or you're gonna wait for the next model, or if you are an R6 user, you're pissed because for what I said, just share your comments and let's have a talk. So thank you for listening to me blabbering. Hope you take a good care of yourself, that you stay well, and see you in the next one.